Is your carbon monoxide and propane alarm beeping every 30 seconds and the LED is flashing red, red, green, green? It has reached its end of service life and needs to be replaced. Hit the test button to silence the alarm, but this will only silence it for 72 hours or 3 days, and you will have to do it again every 3 days until you replace it. An hours went off every 3 days at 3 a.m. and we had to get out of bed to silence it. And after 30 days, it cannot be silenced. Why am I laying on the ground? Well, I'm here to replace my safety alert, propane, and carbon monoxide alarm. This thing has been going off every 3 days at like 5 o'clock in the morning. What you can do is silence it and it mutes it for 3 days. But then again, it comes back at 5 o'clock in the morning and alerts us again. So I'm finally replacing it. I've got a new one, which is a little bit different. It's a flush model versus this model. I couldn't get this one on Amazon. I wanted to get one quickly to get this thing replaced. So I'm going to go over taking this off. I'm gonna have to cut a hole to put this new one, connect the wires, and we'll be done for another 5 years until this one goes bad. So I'm going to take this off. This non-flush mount one, it just pops off like that and slides. I'm going to take my drill driver and back that off. And that pops off of there just like that. I'm going to pull those wires out. Pull on that a little bit. So I'm going to cut this old one off and rewire. I'm not sure what else this is tied into. I'm going to cut it all off and rewire the new one all together. So let's cut that off first. So I'm going to cut the positives, which have a blue, and then the negatives are just white. So I got to remember that. So the blues are the positives. So we're going to cut those. Negatives are these. So the next thing I have to do is figure out, I want to put this where the other one was. So I'm put a level on here, get it where I want it, and hold that against there. Thanks. And I'm going to draw a line around it. Okay, so now I got that cut out the way I wanted, and then I'm going to cut a hole and put that right in there like that. So I'm probably cut it out a little bit bigger than this hole is right here. Okay, if anybody's watched any of my videos, they know how much I love a Dremel tool, and this is a Dremel with like a zip bit on it that I'm going to use to cut out this opening, and hopefully it'll work nice and precisely. We'll see how we do. Well, it's not perfect, but that's pretty damn good. Now I should be able to just reach in there and grab my wires. Hopefully there's nothing that's going to electrocute me in there. Okay, I got all 4 of my wires back out here. And I'm going to strip about a ½ inch of the wire off each of these. What I want to do is see which of these is a load and which is the source. So I'm going to put one on this one. It's not this one. Again, I'm taking about a ½ inch of insulation off here. This here. And this here. 13.45. So this is the source. And that must be another load. I'm going to get more insulation off of here. The other thing I want to confirm is that which one is the positive. So right near here, I got the positive on here and the negative on here, and that's correct. So the blues are the positive. Now how am I going to connect all this together? I'm going to have 3 red wires. So So I'm going to have the 2 red wires here and here, and then this connected on one of these wire nuts. Now these aren't like the twist-on wire nut you use in a house. These are the clamp-on type, which are good to use in an RV because there's so much vibration. Those little twist-on ones can come off. So we want to use these little insulated crimp sleeves. Then we're going to take the blue on one, the blue on the other. We're going to take all 3 of these, put them all together. Make sure each one of those wires going all the way to the tip. I'm going to put it in the crimp sleeve, get it all the way down there, and use my special crimping pliers, and we're going to put it right in there, and we're going to crimp it. Okay. And make sure each wire, pull on each wire, make sure they're nice and tight. So we have all 3 of our positive wires together. Now we're going to do the same thing with the negative wires. So we take a negative, By the way, I didn't turn the power off on this because this is 12 volt and it shouldn't electrocute me. So any of you electricians out there, let's say I should turn the power off. Okay, so now I got the 3 negatives all tied up together. Make sure each one is making it to the end. I put in my insulated crimp connector on there. Take my crimper, line it up properly, and give it a good squeeze. Okay. Pull on each wire. Make sure it's connected. Let's see if this thing is lit up and it is flashing green. Let's see what flashing green means. Okay, well I got it powered on and it's flashing green, and that forced me to actually break out the instructions, which I don't like to do. Again, two projects in a row that I actually looked at the instructions, and it says that the flashing green means it is in the warm-up cycle. So after it's finished the warm-up cycle, I can use the test bus and test it. So let's go ahead and install this thing back into the wall. Now the interesting thing here is the dates. The old one says December 13th, 2016. It is 2022. So it's exactly 6 years to the day that this one expired. It's supposed to last 5 years.
Yeah.
So our new one here says September 22nd, 2022. So I guess that's when it's manufactured. It's supposed to be good for 5 years from that date. So we're good. I'm actually going to put a label on the outside of this saying that it should be September 22nd, 2027. Let's see if my hole is good here. Guess I should have checked that first. Okay. Boom. Let's see if I did good here. Oh man, perfectly level. I am the man. 2 screws to screw it back in. Okay, we're all done. As soon as this thing stops flashing, we'll give it the test. Okay, you can see that the green light is solid now that I've got from warm up. So solid green means it is in good condition, ready to go. So we hit the test button. And it should beep and then go back to green. So we're good to go.
I tested the alarm with some propane just to make sure it was working. If your alarm goes off, look at the control panel and listen to the beeps. For carbon monoxide, it's 4 beeps and then 5 seconds off, and then a steady red LED. For propane, it's a constant beeping and flashing red LED. Hit the test mute button to quiet the alarm. Safety Alert recommends calling the fire department or 911. Make sure everyone is accounted for and out of the RV, including pets. Shut off the propane at the tank. Open the doors and windows when it is safe. Investigate the source of the propane or carbon monoxide. Read and follow the instructions in the Safety Alert Manual. Most of us don't pay attention to our carbon monoxide and propane alarm, but it can save your life if you have an exposure to carbon monoxide or a propane gas leak. Testing the alarm weekly is a good idea, but it only tests the circuit, not the function of the alarm. You can test the function with propane or a can of CO test gas. We turn off our propane every time we leave, especially if we leave our dog behind. Have you had to replace your carbon monoxide propane alarm when it met its end of life? Or have you had an alarm go off? Please share your story in the comments section below. I will leave links to the Safety Alert alarm and the tools and supplies I used in the video description.